Hello all, I am Dr. Rizvi and today's video is on design of experiment. In this video we will discuss about design of experiment, its basic principles, elements, its benefits and uses. So let us start with the video. What is design of experiment? Basically, design of experiment is a branch of statistics that deals with analyzing, planning, and interpretation of the control test for evaluation of the factor controlling the performance measure, that is the output. It also permits the multiple parameters of factors that are influencing the output or desired performance measure or response. It identifies the important interaction between the input factors, that are the parameters, and the output responses. It has the capability of not only selecting the independent, dependent and controlled variables, rather also provide the experimental array under statistical optimal condition within the constraints of the available asset. And it also optimizes the data. And when the budget is limited, we plan the design of experiment for our test, and it restricts the number of tests or trials to achieve the robust system. When there is sufficient fund, there is no need to plan the experiment, and you can perform the experiment on trial basis or any other basis. What is the relation between the factors, process, and responses? This flowchart shows the relation. The process is directly related to the control input factors, and the uncontrolled input factors causes the noise. And this process of input factors results in the response or the performance measures. The three basic principles of design of experiment are randomization, replication, and blocking. Randomization basically means it is the process where every experimental unit has same chance of being allocated for treatment. Whereas in replication we perform experiment more than once. This is to achieve valid and reliable results. In blocking, we remove the unwanted variations in the input and in the process. When do we use design of experiment, DOE, for determining whether a factor or a group of factor has influence on the output response? DOE is used. It is also used to determine whether the response is interacted by the factor or not. It is also used for modeling the behavior of the outcome as a function of factors. And it is also used for optimizing the responses with respect to the input parameters. Why do we use design of experiment? It is used for determining the information of cause and effect between the factors. It is also used for experimenting all the factors at the same time. We can consider all the variables and factors at the same time to determine its response on the output performance measure. It also enables in understanding the combined influence of all the parameters that we have initially selected for our experiment. The basic terms that are used in DOE are: first is experiment. It is basically the procedure that is performed to make discoveries or hypotheses or to understand the cause and effect relationship. The second is factor, parameter, input variable. These are the common names for factor, and they are the discrete variables used to classify experimental units. Many examples are there. Some examples are pressure, temperature, force for any particular situation. Next is level. When the values of factors is varied, it is termed as level and it is used to perform the experiment. And the range is given as the maximum and the minimum extent of the level of each factor. Another basic term is hypothesis testing. It is the statistical procedure performed to make a statistical decision using experimental data. It is generally an assumption made about the population parameters. Randomization we have earlier discussed. It is the process where experimental unit has some chance of being allocated to treatment. This will avoid biasness in the process. Replicates, we perform the experiment more than once and individual repetition is known as replicates, and on the basis of replicates there is a replication. For achieving more valid and reliable result we go for replication as it increases the precision of the result. Next is blocking. Blocking is a process of removing unwanted variation in the input or in the process. In this, the data is divided into groups, and these groups are called blocks, such that the observation of each block is homogeneous, that is, similar. Next is precision. It depicts the closeness of measurement to each other. Each tested value must be close enough. Then the term is known as precision. And when the measured value is close to the true value, then it is known as accuracy. The last is residual or the remain. It is the measure of error in a process. It is basically the difference between the response and the predicted value. The response we have got and the predicted model value that is being provided by the model. Residual is that. What are the benefits of design of experiment? It helps in selecting the key factors influencing the outcome or the performance measure. It also reduces the variability and closer conformance to target is achieved. It optimizes the process. It also reduces the overall cost and saves the time, and it maintains quality control. Where is DOE used? It is used in automobile industries, defense industries, aerospace, pharmaceuticals, beverage industries, banking, and customer services, and many more. What are the steps incorporated in planning and conducting the experiments? After we have decided that we have to conduct a design of experiment, what are the steps that are incorporated in planning and conducting the experiment? First is to recognize and state the problem. What is our basic problem? On what thing we are going to research? And we have to state the problem. Then we have to select the factors, their range and their degree. The levels and the factors are being selected. The parameters are selected. After selecting the parameter, we also select the output responses or the performance measures, or you can say the results of the things that we require. Next, upon selecting the factors and the output responses, we select the type of design of experiment. And then we conduct our experiment on the basis of DOE, and we finally statistically analyze the data that we have obtained after experiments, and then we conclude and propose the recommendation on the statistical data that we have achieved. So these are the basic 7 steps that are incorporated while conducting and planning the experiment, before the research and during the research and in concluding the research. Subscribe our channel, Dr. Rizvi channel on YouTube. Thank you.